Good afternoon, everybody, from day, what is this, 3? Day 3.
I think 3.
Day 3 of RSA 2023. I am pleased to be joined by Dave Merkel, CEO and co-founder of Expel, which is also the sponsor of this segment. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. I like the Merkel, which is the proper pronunciation, as opposed to Merkel. So that's nice. Well done. I like that.
Yeah, I figure you get that a lot.
That's yeah. I think the best thing I got was going through an airport in Frankfurt, and the guard was like, "How are things in Berlin?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Your last name," which was hilarious. Yeah,
Very slyly, your last name.
like subtle German humor. Yeah.
So shifting subjects to the matter at hand.
Oh, okay.
The matter at hand for us right now is vulnerability and threat landscape and how it is changing in the world for your customers. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, nice small topic. I'll take that in just two parts. If I think about sort of threat landscape, I hate that phrase, but it's in use, so let's go with it.
Like thought leadership.
Yeah, when we look at yeah, exactly.
I don't like it, but I haven't thought of anything better.
This thought is out front. When I think about evolving threats, I mean it evolves with the technology, right? So as defenders become more adept, attackers become faster. That is exacerbated as there's new attack surfaces. You know, think about cloud, think past cloud and sort of the nuances inside cloud environments like Kubernetes. And so there's that continual adaptation. That's a forever thing. That's not new, but that's a continued evolution. As I think about something like vulnerability management, that's been historically thought about as in the context of, well, we do some scans and we got some vulnerabilities, and it will take 6 months, and maybe somebody will patch some stuff, and who knows. I think as we look to the future, you really have to think about operationalizing that. There's a set of that information that you really need to act on in the same time frame as you would an alert if you want to actually minimize risk. If you go back to what I originally said about threats, which is as we evolve, they get faster, and so as time matters, you know, your cycle time is material as to whether or not your controls, your mitigations actually have an effect. And so I think the need to up our operational game is a continual arena of development to include in areas that historically have not thought that way, like vulnerability management. So
how long has Expel been around?
Let's see, we were founded in 2016, and then we first came to market with sort of 1.0 of Expel at the beginning of 2018. So we've been in existence almost 7 years, in market just over 5.
And how does Expel help remedy the landscape as you've just described it?
Sure. So if we think about the threat side of things, which is where Expel was born, is focused on sort of managed detection and response, but we use a technology-centric approach as opposed to just people. A few things. One is we've really focused our technology and our process around dropping those cycle times from alert to fix. So alert to fix in a few days, unacceptable. A few hours, unacceptable. You've got minutes. And so that's one arena, is true operational excellence driven by technology to get those kinds of outcomes. It's providing capabilities around new attack surfaces as they evolve, so not just traditional sort of domain of MDR, but actual cloud proficiency, whether you're talking cloud platforms, whether you're talking SaaS applications, that's where your stuff is. And so your detection and response protection umbrella should extend across all of your assets. You have to then adopt, you know, every time Amazon changes how cloud works at every reInvent, you've got to be there, whether we're talking Lambda, whether we're talking Kubernetes. And so that's another domain. And then lastly, I'll say on the threat side of things, we've really focused on being able to operationalize all the things our customers have invested in. And so I think we integrate with over 115 different technologies today across all those domains, sort of traditional security, cloud platform, cloud SaaS, et cetera. And we're producing new ones every single day because that's the landscape. Like, go walk the show floor at RSA. I haven't seen the logos out there or the types of products decrease in the entire time I've been coming here, and I've been doing this stuff for over a quarter century because I'm old. And so I think that's necessary. On the vulnerability side of things, we can talk more about this. We actually just announced this week, we're bringing out an offering that we call vulnerability prioritization, which is really taking That's stuff you've invested in for vulnerability management, integrating with it and making it operational. Like, what do you need to get to right now? What do you need to get to at speed? How do you use that data in real time in your detection and response efforts? So we're trying to make sure that we provide sort of full spectrum coverage across the entire attack cycle.
So let's go a little more granular with that.
Sure.
So Expel vulnerability prioritization, go into some specifics of how it helps customers evaluate their risks.
Yeah, so there's a few arenas where that's going to help. First is that prioritization, but not just prioritization in the context of some scoring assigned by some external entity. Because if you buy prioritization, you've already bought some aspect of our core offering. We can actually look at your operational environment because we're connected to it. We've got your EDR, we've got your SIEM, we've got your network, we've got your cloud platform. And so we can marry up that operational knowledge with what your vulnerability management infrastructure is telling us to give you a crisper picture on, no, these 6 things. I know there's 40 on this list. These 6 right now, and here's why. And so that really gives you a crisper picture that is more actionable and results in actual reduced risk, and we can prove it. So that's one arena where we're significantly helping. Another arena where we're helping is we may be able to tell you about some things before your vulnerability management infrastructure tells you because of our defense community, our other customers that we're connected to, and so we may be able to help you cover blind spots faster. And then lastly, we are doing your core detection and response. We take all that vuln information, we put it in that process, and say there's an incident against a key asset. We know if it's got core vulnerabilities, if there's other assets in its proximity that are now more vulnerable to attack because they've got vulnerabilities. Like say there's some particular configuration or vulnerability that makes lateral movement easier. We can tell you, not only should you worry about this asset, but the likelihood an attacker is going to start moving on you is vastly increased because of these problems. And so we can make that data operationally useful, and we do that for you.
Very good. Now, you mentioned how long you've been doing this.
Yeah.
And it's about the same time I've been doing this.
There you go, high five.
And vulnerability management is one of those topics where companies are always behind.
Yeah.
And I love that you were talking about how this helps with prioritization.
Yeah.
Because that, over the years, has been one of the recurring problems.
That's exactly right.
People have talked about. So, but in a general sense, as you look over the last 20 plus years, are organizations getting better at this? Or are we doomed to just be on this circular whack-a-mole merry-go-round?
Let's see here. So I have to fight my last name is Merkel, but my mom's name is McLaughlin, so I'm Irish. I will now fight my Irish nature, which is highly pessimistic. So do I see improvement? Yeah, I do. It does sometimes regress. Like as you have a new attack surface, like again, we'll go back to cloud or sort of subsets of what sits in your cloud, like Kubernetes, that then kind of resets your capabilities a little bit. So maybe you've taken a few steps forward, but now kind of the thing you're protecting changed shape. And now, record scratch and you back up a couple steps. And so, yeah, there's some of that that's always, I think, going to occur. I think some of the biggest places where we've moved the needle really are sort of levels of awareness in the business. Having board level conversations, maybe not about all the crunchy details, but some smarter questions, some more pressure on business priorities, that I think is actually significantly improved over the long arc of time. And I do see us moving the needle on some of these sort of long-standing issues like vulnerability management. Is there still a long way to go? Yeah, because progress is slow. It is. But I have probably a more optimistic view that particularly because the attacker, the kind of extension of attack activity, because that's not going away, it's increasing every year. I don't mean that through to spread fear, it's just true, drives improvement. You don't have a choice. It's a survival thing. It's not a theoretical thing. If we go back to kind of the mid kind of aughts, some of that was a little bit more theoretical. Yeah, you should, but there weren't nearly as many headlines. And so I think that pressure forces evolution. And so I'm net positive, but I acknowledge the fact that sometimes it can be hard to see the progress.
All we can do is just keep doing the best we can.
Well, the alternative is give up. That doesn't
Yep.
seem like a good idea, and we're all still here.
Yep.
I mean, so are the bad guys. That's not going to change. But we're here. This video appears to be working. Like the sound system worked. Like so, that didn't get disrupted. So I think that getting overly pessimistic. Wow, that word is hard.
That was yesterday, actually.
Yeah. Was that yesterday? Was pessimistic?
No, the power and internet going on the blink.
Oh, did it?
At least in this little corner of the universe.
That wasn't me. as far as you know.
So it's been a pleasure catching up with you. And
Likewise.
I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Fantastic. You too.
And the same to all of you. Hope you're enjoying the show or enjoying whatever you're doing wherever you are.